We're now seeing an increasing number of companies adding ANC to their earbuds, and until now, Sony and Apple have held onto a clear lead when it comes to noise-cancelling performance. But I think a new competitor has finally been able to catch up to that standard, and Jabra's Elite 85T might even have the best noise cancelling yet. Confusingly, Jabra actually added ANC to their 75Ts via a software update, and we'll see how they perform during this video too, but you can tell that the hardware wasn't designed with noise cancelling in mind. The 85Ts, however, have been built with ANC at their core, and the performance really shows this. In this video, we'll be reviewing the 85Ts in full and comparing them with both the older 75Ts and Apple's noise-cancelling AirPods Pro. Let's take a look. Before we start, I just thought I'd answer a question I get asked quite often. What about Jabra's Elite Active 75T? This extra model does make their earbuds lineup more confusing, but simply put, the active version comes in a few different colours and has a higher water resistance rating than the non-active version. And that's it, so you can essentially consider all of the differences between the 85 and 75Ts to also apply to the active model. Starting with the unboxing, it's a mostly familiar experience. Jabra's presentation is always very good, and the box comes packaged with the earbuds and charging case, just a couple of pairs of extra ear tips, and also the USB-C charging cable. But I do want to draw your attention to the packaging because this is made from 100% recyclable materials from environmentally responsible sources, so I wanted to call Jabra out for setting a good example. The colour I have here is the titanium black model, and I also have the titanium 75Ts so that we can make a direct comparison. Jabra's 75T case is one of the few on the market that's actually smaller than Apple's AirPods Pro, but the new 85T case is a bit larger to accommodate the new earbud design. Still, all three of these cases are very small and compact, and certainly some of the more travel-friendly earbuds out there. Apart from the size, the 85 and 75T cases are almost identical, with the Jabra logo at the front and the USB-C charging port at the rear. But the new model moves the battery and charging LED round to the front, like on AirPods Pro. There's also a Qi wireless charging icon on the bottom surface of all 85T models, whereas only some 75T models support this feature. So that's one of the bigger changes, which I'll come back to later. Speaking of different colours, there are more colour options for the new 85Ts than last year's model, but this is also one of the biggest differences from AirPods Pro, which of course are only available in white. Regardless of the colour choice, I prefer Jabra's matte finish because the AirPods case gets quite scratched up over time. One of my favourite aspects of Jabra's cases is their use of strong magnets, which keeps the earbud securely in place and also ensures that the charging pins align with the earbuds. One of the biggest issues I have with AirPods is that over time, their contact in the case weakens, and I'll often come back to find one or both AirPods haven't charged. For all of AirPods' wonderful convenience, longevity remains their greatest weakness, and Jabra's strong and satisfying magnets help prevent this issue. The magnetic lid feels a little more secure too, and it also locks into the open position, unlike the AirPods Pro case. But I think best of all is that they use USB-C for charging rather than Lightning, so in general, I much prefer Jabra's charging cases. Two things that Jabra does really well is build quality and earbud ergonomics, and I find both the 75 and 85Ts fit really snugly. The new model has a slightly larger earbud and a new shape that optimises the seal and comfort. You can see that the ear tip doesn't extend as far with the new model, and you can feel this in your ears that the 85Ts don't push as far into your ear canal. Perhaps the coolest new additions are the new pressure relief vents, a feature a lot of people are now asking for in their earbuds. This prevents pressure building up inside the ear, and alongside the new oval-shaped ear tips, eliminates that ear-plugging sensation that some earbuds give you. And I personally find the 75Ts can cause this after a while because of how deep the ear tips penetrate the ear canal. So the 85T's new semi-open design changes three really important factors. Number one is comfort, which overall is a nice improvement. The new model aren't quite as small or lightweight as the 75Ts, and in their defense, this is sometimes better for short-term use. But the new pressure vents and new shape have improved particularly long-term comfort, and with the ear tips not penetrating as deep, I find that I can wear the 85Ts for longer without my ears aching. The second factor is audio quality, and I've said before how important the seal and ear tips are in optimizing the sound. At first I found the bass response much more powerful with the older 75Ts because of their tighter seal in the ear, but after swapping out to the larger ear tips, this improved the seal with the 85Ts without them having to push as far into my ears. This drastically improved the bass and the immersion of the audio, bringing it much closer to that of the 75Ts, but more on audio quality later. And the final factor, and perhaps the one drawback, is reduced passive noise isolation. Since the 85T's ear tips don't sit as deep, and the seal formed isn't as tight, a little bit more sound is allowed in from your environment than the 75T's, so they feel a bit more airy and open, but the trade-off is noise isolation. This is dependent on your ear shape and the ear tip size you use, of course, but I feel like the 85T's strike a better overall balance between isolation and comfort. As for the AirPods Pro, the seal is the weakest of the three, and as a result, the noise isolation is too. But they're also the lightest and feel the most open, with the least ear-plugging sensation. I just don't notice them as much in my ears, so for comfort, AirPods Pro are still the winner. The seal is also important for keeping the earbuds in your ears, and I would trust the Jabra earbuds to stay in my ears much more than AirPods Pro. AirPods don't usually fall out when I'm running, but they do move, which is quite unnerving. I'm never confident they won't fall out, whereas both Jabra earbuds stay securely in place during workouts, even without wingtips. All of the earbuds have some form of sweat and water resistance, with both AirPods and the 85Ts offering an IPX4 rating. But the 75Ts actually have a higher rating of IP55, protecting them from jets of water and dust as well. And as we mentioned earlier, the active 75Ts have even better protection, including for full submersion. The new 85Ts meet a sufficient standard to protect them from everyday use, but it was a shame to see the IP rating drop from the previous model. The 85Ts have the same controls as the 75Ts, with a single button on either earbud, but the button is much more clicky this year and takes a bit more pressure to activate. Often this can be an issue with true wireless earbuds because pressing the button can push the ear tips uncomfortably into the ear canal, and therefore I'd normally say that touch controls are a better option. But thanks to the new earbud shape, the pressure is applied to the outside part of your ear, so it doesn't hurt even to press firmly. It's not as quick as on the 75Ts, but I like how distinctive the click is to help you ensure you trigger the control you want. AirPods Pro avoid these issues by placing the force sensor controls on the stem of the earbud, and they give really nice haptic feedback when you press them. But their major disadvantage compared to Jabra's earbuds is that there's no option to customize the controls. Jabra, on the other hand, offers extensive customization in their excellent Sound Plus app. You can set the controls for each earbud from single to triple tap, and press and hold to change volume. There are even specific controls for when you're on a phone call, so it's pretty in-depth, and this works for both the 75 and 85Ts. All of the earbuds have an auto pause feature when you take an earbud out, and auto play when you place it back in your ear. It's good on AirPods Pro, but lightning fast on Jabra's earbuds, and it's the most responsive auto pause system I've used with true wireless earbuds. But let's talk about the biggest new feature, ANC. There are two major hardware differences between the 85 and 75Ts that make the new model built for ANC. First of all, they use a 6-mic setup, where 4 of these are used for noise cancelling. And the second is that they have a dedicated ANC processor inside, and together they make what Jabra call advanced ANC. Noise cancelling is much easier to control with the new model. You simply drag the slider to set the desired ANC level, and you can clearly hear the effect this has, so it's very intuitive and simple to use. The 75Ts had ANC added via a software update. Surprisingly, the ANC is not bad. In fact, it's better than some earbuds that have been built for ANC. But without that dedicated ANC hardware as a foundation, the noise cancelling performance and customization is much more limited than with the 85Ts. You'll see that there's no slider to control the ANC level, it's simply on or off. But you set this up as a personalized setting through a somewhat confusing procedure in the app. You can hear this changing the ANC effect, but it's not exactly clear how you're changing it. The squares you tap on don't seem to correlate to an intuitive change in ANC. The 85Ts don't have this complicated step, and the slider is more powerful and much easier to use. But more to the point, the actual noise cancelling performance is significantly better with the new model. The 85Ts block out much more sound, and the difference from the 75Ts is quite considerable. In the 75T's defense, they actually block out more sound passively because of that tighter seal formed with the ear tips. But when you get a good seal with the 85T's and test them side by side with the older model, you can hear how much better the noise cancelling is. I also noticed a faint artificial hissing sound when using ANC with the 75T's, whereas the 85T's don't have this and therefore sound more natural. So the 75T's noise cancelling was a lot better than I expected, and they're even one of the better performers in that sort of mid-range of ANC earbuds you now find at the $150 mark. But the 85T's are a clear step up and belong in that elite category with Sony and Apple. Having compared them side by side in a range of environments, I actually think they outperform AirPods Pro for noise cancelling. A lot of this has to do with the tighter seal formed, so the earbuds are already blocking out more sound passively than AirPods. The noise cancelling tech might actually be better in AirPods Pro, but at least the overall effect of blocking out noise is better in Jabra's 85T's. If I had to pick a winner, I'd probably still give Sony the crown for noise cancelling. Their earbuds just seem to do a bit better with mid-range and higher frequencies. But Jabra are certainly right up there with them, and because of their smaller and more comfortable size, the 85T's are my new favourite ANC earbuds. The thing is, at the moment, you need to spend a bit more to get really good ANC in true wireless earbuds. This was true for audio quality ones too, whereas now we're seeing cheaper earbuds competing with the best for audio, and I'm sure before too long, we'll see the same thing happen with noise cancellation. Soundcore's Liberty Air 2 Pro that I reviewed last week are a great example of this. Flagship quality audio, but the ANC wasn't on the same level as high-end models, costing $80 to $100 more. Jabra's 85T's are also in that higher price tier category, but with better ANC performance to match it. You get what you pay for doesn't always apply in tech, but it does seem to apply to ANC at the moment. Noise cancelling also affects the phone call quality, and it's much easier to hear the caller with the 85T's and AirPods Pro because of how good the noise cancelling is. But noise cancelling tech is also used to help isolate your voice when using the earbuds in loud environments like near passing traffic. Jabra are call quality experts, and their earbuds have always had good sounding mics for phone calls. Even in this loud, heavy traffic environment, the earbuds do a good job of isolating my voice, and since the ANC is really good, it's easy to hear the caller too. The 75T's gave a very similar performance, but in very loud environments, I think isolating my voice was a bit better with the newer 85T's. But the main advantage with the newer model is that you can hear the caller better because of the improved ANC. AirPods Pro are still the best sounding in most situations, and my voice just sounded a bit louder and clearer. But they don't cancel out the background noise as much, so the 85T's are often better in those louder environments. And again, it's easier to hear the caller too. Jabra offer extensive customization for the call experience too, including custom controls, side tone which lets you hear your own voice during the call, and even a call equalizer. So the options are much more advanced than what most earbuds give you. Alongside ANC, we also have Jabra's transparency mode, which is called HearThrough. Jabra have one of the better, more natural sounding transparency modes, which lets you clearly hear your surroundings. The 75T's sound a bit more artificial, because you can hear a hissing sound as the microphones try to amplify the outside noise, whereas this is much quieter on the new 85T's. But like the ANC mode, you can bring the HearThrough slider down for a more natural, albeit quieter effect. The performance is roughly the same as AirPods transparency mode, but I'd give Jabra an edge simply because, once again, you can customize this. You can also save custom profiles on the app to suit your listening preference. These are called moments, and similar to Sony's app, they're set up by default to suit different situations. For example, Commute has HearThrough turned on for spatial awareness, whereas the focus mode turns up noise cancelling to the max. All three of these moments let you save a custom sound mode with your desired ANC level, and even a custom equalizer to go with it. And again, this is a huge advantage over AirPods Pro. Customization and features are really the key benefit of Jabra's, and in fact many other companies' earbuds, over AirPods, and the equalizer is a prime example. You can choose from one of the preset options, and also save multiple custom EQs, which will even carry over to your other devices along with your settings. One of my favourite parts of the app is the Soundscapes feature. This is a sound bank of ambient sounds, like a thunderstorm and crashing ocean waves, and combined with Jabra's premium sound quality, they deliver a really immersive experience. I found myself using this more often than I expected, and if you've seen my Bose Sleep Buds review, then this is the high quality ambient sound feature I was referring to in that video. The app lets you further personalize your earbuds with My Sound, which will test your hearing and then fine-tune the audio experience accordingly. It's very easy to set up, but strangely, it doesn't actually show you your results. It just tells you your unique profile is activated in the background. We've seen lots of features like this before in other earbuds, but it's not as sophisticated as something like Soundcore's Hear ID, which now has advanced features like integrating custom equalizers into the profile. You've also got Find My Jabra, one of the few extra features you'll also find on AirPods Pro. The tracking feature shows the current or last known locations, and just like with AirPods, you can play a loud sound through the earbuds to help you find them. The Sound Plus app might be my favourite earbud companion app I've used. It has a very clean and intuitive interface like many others we've seen, but it's one of the more feature-packed apps. These features are the same for the 75 and 85Ts, but one small difference I noticed is that the battery tracking was better for the 85Ts, with faster and more precise updates for each individual earbud. So for battery life, the 85Ts offer 7 hours per charge and 31 total with the charging case. This is slightly less than the 75Ts, although the larger charging case gives you a bit more total battery life. Understandably, both of these drop down to around 5.5 hours with ANC turned on, but this still beats AirPods Pro, which are now falling behind on battery. The fast charging feature should give you around 60 minutes playback after a 15-minute charge on both the 75 and 85Ts, but I was sometimes getting double this, so the stats are very modest. The total charging time is a bit slower on the new 85Ts, and both of these fall short compared to AirPods Pro. All three earbuds cases can use wireless charging, but only the 85Ts and AirPods Pro guarantee this. As I said earlier, only specific 75T models support this feature, where this will be an optional extra. With Jabra's earbuds, you can also customize the time after which they auto power off to help save on battery. With AirPods, you can't customize the auto off since they never really power off. They just sort of enter an idle mode when not in use. But to be honest, the battery conservation is very good when they do so. As for connectivity, the 85Ts are one of the first earbuds to use Bluetooth 5.1, and the connection to my phone in terms of both range and stability has been excellent. The higher spec is cool and may help with future-proofing, but at least at the moment doesn't actually bring any advantage over Bluetooth 5. Plus, the device you're listening to is unlikely to support it yet anyway, so performance will be the same as the 75Ts. With the master-slave configuration, Jabra still only lets you use the right earbud on its own, whereas many earbuds now, including AirPods Pro, let you use either side independently. There's no latency on iOS or Android though, so all three of these are great for watching videos, despite the fact that none of these support aptX. I at least hoped the newer 85Ts would have this, but like the 75Ts, they still only support SBC and AAC. This won't affect Apple users, but is a disappointment for Android users, where aptX is a much more consistent codec to use. One good feature they do have though is multipoint, so you can connect both the 75 and 85Ts to two devices at the same time. You have to pause on the first device before pressing play on the other, and sometimes using the earbud controls will randomly switch device, so you're best off using the device's controls instead. But switching between two devices is pretty fast, and overall works really well, so it's good to see the feature supported, especially since it's still uncommon in true wireless earbuds. AirPods Pro are famous for having excellent multi-device support thanks to their H1 chip, but an important distinction from Jabra's earbuds is that this and many other features are exclusive to Apple devices. I've talked a lot in the past about just how great the experience is using AirPods with Apple devices, from automatic device switching, to hands-free Siri, to spatial audio, and these exclusive features are often enough to offset AirPods' drawbacks and high price tag. But you really only benefit fully from these if you have multiple Apple devices, and even basic features like ear detection, voice assistant, and battery tracking don't work on Android. Jabra can't quite match AirPods' convenience with Apple devices, but they still offer many more features overall, and if you're an Android user, it's a no-brainer which earbuds you should go for. So the final point we need to discuss is audio quality. Jabra have always made great sounding earbuds, and their sound signature leans towards the warmer side, which I personally quite like, since this creates a relaxing sound free from any harsh sibilants. Importantly, the bass is very deep but doesn't muddy the audio, so the mid-range remains clear and the listening experience is very immersive. The new 85Ts use 12mm drivers compared to 6mm in the 75Ts, and as expected, I do think the bass response is deeper and more powerful. But this doesn't make the substantial impact you might expect, and as I said earlier, it took a while experimenting with the different ear tips before I could hear the true difference in audio quality. In their stock settings, the 85Ts seem to have a flatter, more balanced response, whereas the 75Ts by comparison sound almost as though they're using a V-shaped equalizer. As a result, the older model actually seems to have a bit more depth and clarity, and certainly the highs sound more crisp. I'd actually say that I prefer the 75T's default sound profile, but of course you can boost the treble and create a similar profile with the 85Ts using the app. Suffice to say, the overall difference is small enough that you don't need to upgrade from the 75Ts based on sound quality alone. The audio quality overall is great, and should be more than good enough for the average listener, but I think they're not quite on the same level as the market leaders. They don't have the refined low end of Sony's M3 earbuds, the detail and soundstage of Sennheiser's Momentum 2, or the sparkling highs of Soundcore's Liberty 2 Pro. But if those three are a cut above the rest, then Jabra are following not too far behind. As for AirPods Pro, it's no secret that audio quality is one of their weaker aspects. And in fact, of all of the flagship true wireless earbuds, AirPods probably have the poorest audio quality. The sound is still clear, well balanced, and free from distortion. But like many other earbuds, Jabra blow them out of the water when it comes to bass, and the 85Ts have a much richer and more exciting sound. So if you want to buy the new 85Ts, then these are currently discounted to just under $200, and at this price, I would highly recommend getting them. This undercuts the current ANC earbud leaders by some margin, and certainly beats them in terms of value for money. The Elite 85Ts are expensive, but with their extensive feature set and excellent all-round performance, they're still easy to recommend. Alternatively, if you're not fussed about getting premium ANC, you could save some money by getting either of the older 75T models. The prices vary depending on whether you get the active or the wireless charging versions, but I think the original 75Ts offer the best value for money overall. This table here summarizes the major differences between the 75 and 85Ts, but noise cancelling and the price are really the most important factors here. If you already own the 75Ts, my advice is don't upgrade. And if you're choosing between the two, they're closer in terms of features and performance than it may first appear, so price will be super important. If you want really good ANC, then that's the reason to get the 85Ts. If not, save yourself some money and get one of the 75T models. As for AirPods Pro, the only reason I could perhaps justify their price over Jabra's earbuds is if you have multiple Apple devices and plan on continuously switching between them. Otherwise, the sound quality alone, even before you look at all the other features, make Jabra's earbuds a much better option. In the title of the video, I asked if these are the best ANC earbuds yet, and though they may not take the crown for ANC performance, it's so close to the best that the rest of the features do make these the best overall. The 85Ts strike the best balance between size and comfort, and the audio and noise cancelling performance, so I think these are the new ANC earbuds to beat. But let me know what you think about the new 85Ts. If you have any questions about any of these earbuds, then leave them in the comments section and I'll do my best to help you. For now though, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.